Well, content for Resident Evil fans has been very dry as of recently, getting zero news on the RE8 DLC or even the RE4 remake, so call me Adam Schefter because I am going to jump the gun. This video will be focused on my personal Resident Evil 9 wishlist and what I would like to see in this game. This list will contain multiple situations. It doesn't have to happen in the same game since I have a lot of ideas written down for this. Before we get into it, hitting the like button would be very appreciated and leaving a comment as well to help this video reach the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this in the near future. And with everything out of the way, let's get into the video. Coming in at the number 1 spot is the most obvious one of them all, and that is Jill Valentine returning in this game. It has been 13 years and counting since her last canonical appearance, and not just Jill fans but RE fans in general want to see her come back once and for all. This will be the first time for her appearing after going through rehab, and we would love to see how she is after the events of Resident Evil 5. She may be around 50 years old when this game releases and if it stars her, but either way, Capcom pulls off their biggest return for a character probably in their company's history. It has been long overdue, and I really believe they will bring her back for Resident Evil 9, and it seems very fitting if Rose has a key role in the game and Chris decides to, chill out a little bit. Number 2, I'm gonna go with no more Ethan Winters. If they do decide to bring him back, what they said at the end of RE Village was completely false, which was the father's story is now done or complete, whatever it is. Ethan had a great send-off by sacrificing himself to save Rose, Mia, and Chris. He is very polarizing in many ways, but I really don't see him coming back for RE9. Of course, this game is potentially the last part of the Winters family trilogy. Maybe he can have a small role in the game as like a ghostly figure Rose sees in her visions or whatever, but what I don't want is for him to be a playable character in the story. He was for sure a major improvement in RE8 compared to RE7, but for me, what's done is done, and RIP Ethan Winters. Number 3, a duo that has never happened before. This can range from multiple duos from the likes of a Claire Redfield and Jill Valentine duo, an Ada Wong and Jill Valentine duo, but the one I want to see the most is a Jill Valentine and Leon Kennedy duo. Either of these duos will be great for this game, and I would love to see them fight BOWs together before their stories are completely done. There are other duos that I would love to see, but that will be for another spot on this list. A Jill and Leon duo would be great since they've never met, and I firmly believe if they do work together, it will be the best or worst duo ever. There is no in between. A Claire and Jill duo would work extremely well since they have the closest ties to Chris, and I have a feeling they could pick up great chemistry off the bat since, they kind of know each other. Apparently they met off screen or something like that, but again, correct me in the comments section if I'm wrong. As for the Jill and Ada duo, it would be cool to see, but Leon would probably be attached by that, so you can consider that the Jill and Leon duo with Ada being the side character to that, so yeah. Number 4, Rose as either an anti-hero or antagonist. I don't think we will be playing as her in Resident Evil 9 since she is a bioweapon and has very unique power supposedly. I think her being an anti-hero would be really cool to see since she is known as Evelyn's successor. Some evil may be inside her, or maybe she has been getting tired of being used by the BSAA as said in the post-credit scene as they run tests on her and need her for situations. Does she have Evelyn inside her? We don't know about that yet. There is a lot of questions about her and her role in Resident Evil 9, so we shall wait and see in the near future. Number 5, no more first person. Resident Evil 7 was the perfect game to have the first person camera perspective in a very tight atmosphere that was the Baker house. It was a great camera to use for that setting, but as for RE Village, it was a mixed bag for me. There were so many areas where the game could have suited third person, and there already is a mod for that in the game on PC. The only area that suited first person was House Beneviento in my opinion, and now that Ethan is dead, I don't want to see first person anymore. It feels very limited on what you can do, but the only pro I ever heard about first person is that it brings the horror closer to you. I really want third person back. And now our faceless protagonist is now dead. It is time to retire that camera and to go back to third person. Sorry for repeating that word, but it is the camera that I grew up on, and for the people that want the fixed camera back, it's extremely outdated, so I do apologize. I don't think it's coming back at all. Sorry. Number 6, Chris takes a break or a back seat. Chris has been a part of the Winters family since the events of Resident Evil 7, but many fans, including myself, want to see him either take a back seat or a break after many appearances in the timeline since Resident Evil 5, appearing in 4 straight mainline games and a CGI movie. I talked about this situation in previous videos of mine, so feel free to check them out since I ranted over there, and the link in the description will be down below. Number 7, an Avengers Endgame lineup. If Chris does appear in the game, I would love to see it with the rest of the main characters. Leon, Jill, and Claire all teaming up to fight whoever is the antagonist of RE9. It could be Rose, it could be somebody else completely brand new as well. This game could also include other characters, possibly somebody like Ada Wong, Sherry Birkin, or Rebecca Chambers, which this game could potentially be the final game for either one or all of the main characters. Who knows? Seeing them join forces and getting their send-offs would be so cool to see because it's something we have never seen before. Not counting RE6 since that had a lot of side characters and it didn't include Claire and Jill, and it would be very fitting if it was their final game as well. Well, I mean, it would probably have similarities to RE6, so yeah, I'm probably wrong about that situation. Number 8, one of the main 4 gets a send-off or death. As crazy as that sounds, I can see one of the main 4 getting killed off the series, and it would break our hearts drastically, and no matter who it is, and have a newfound care and or love for that specific character, whether if it's a sacrifice or an inevitable death, and it would be one of the biggest moments in the franchise. Ethan's death in Village was very sad without question, but for me, it didn't really hit that hard. If it was someone like any of the main 4, it would hit 100 times harder since they've been around since the beginning and have a huge reason as to why we fell in love with Resident Evil. It would be interesting to see this, but it was definitely the hardest thing to put on this list since it may either create a large discussion or a controversial opinion. Or it would just create controversy. Maybe that's just, the better word instead. Number 9, all-female leading cast. Now, why do I have this on the list? It's because it's never happened before. I think maybe I'm wrong, but it would be awesome to see this, especially with the characters I have for this role. This could be a mix of RE5 and RE6 co-op mechanics along with multiple campaigns. The first one would be starring Jill Valentine making her return along with someone who a lot of Resident Evil fans want to see return as well, and that is Sheva Alomar. They both know each other and seeing these two working together would be awesome to see. Reuniting after the events of Resident Evil 5, and we know for damn sure they would have amazing chemistry and get along immediately, especially both being former partners to Chris Redfield. The next campaign would star Claire Redfield returning after Revelations 2, and I think you guys know exactly who her partner should be. I have this person being the future of Resident Evil if Capcom decides to roll with a new generation of characters, and that would be Sherry Birkin. She's been involved in the events of bioterrorism and zombie outbreaks as long as anyone else being a major character in Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 6 was her return and many people including myself loved her. I wish she was the main character of the campaign, but it was Jake Miller, so I will not talk about that. Seeing these two reunited after RE2 would be one of the most satisfying and heartwarming things this franchise could offer. This to me is one of my dream duels of all time in Resident Evil. So seeing this would not just be huge fan service, but it would be great for their stories as well. And the antagonist or anti-hero can be Rose, let's not forget about her as well. Well, here's the last one, but this is a pretty interesting one. So, number 10, the setting takes place in Japan. I believe Japan is one of the countries that hasn't been taken place or explored in Resident Evil. Since Capcom is a Japanese video game developing company, I'm shocked that they haven't considered working on a setting for RE taking place there. Who knows, maybe they have considered it and scrapped it. I want to keep this one short since there are a lot of other areas of the world Capcom can explore from the likes of Canada, other parts of the US, Europe again, Africa, Australia, and many other countries, so who really knows? That is all up in the air and I'm looking forward to seeing where this location will be. It's probably going to be in Europe in my opinion. And if there ever is a Resident Evil game that does take place in Japan, that's where I would want the horror to be at its peak since, it would feel at home, really. Again, guys, this is all coming from my mind. This isn't like, ripping off of someone else's wish list. Well, I mean, I hope not. But yeah, that is the end of today's video. Feel free to comment your wish list down below and, let's just have a nice positive discussion in the comments and, let's keep it civil. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you ended up enjoying this, and if you guys want to see more of this kind of content in the near future, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well. The support has been absolutely insane, and thank you guys for that. It really means a lot. I hope you guys have yourselves a good day, a good night, and a good sleep. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, and much love.